let's see. I have no idea how good the audio is. Let's see here. Testing, testing. I'm guessing it's just all background noise, but that's fine. Let's see. Echo, noise. Sure. Thanks, Benjamin. All right, I need to carefully move this out of the way. I was working on the Cosmic Taxidermist before I got this lovely box. Oh, jeez. Let me do some quick modifications. My name's on it. Let's see, tape. Some old masking tape to mask my identity. I'm really excited. So this is the Castor Pollux Winter Blooms, one of Winter Bloom's amazing models. You know, masking tape is doing a terrible job. Let's try something else. We'll save that for later because we'll need that tape. Sharpie time. I need to order like a 10-pack of those super thick Sharpies. Alright, so this box came as a present, and for those of you not familiar, Castor Pollux is an amazing dual oscillator module. Here, let me stop this for a second so you can hear me better. And every part of the experience is fairly considered, like, please reuse or recycle. I will probably, because this box is so nice, I might see if I can carefully, you know, I might just cover the top, but I feel like I can turn this into a little synthesizer to gift somebody else. Yeah, it comes with a receipt, a checklist showing you all the parts are probably there. Nice. This beautiful gift wrapped little box. And then a couple PCBs, a sticker, and a Winter Bloom card. I think the card, I wish the card was a sticker, because this would be a really sick sticker too. Beautiful. Let's see. Oh yes, I'm living in synth. Oh yeah, I gotta put this on something. Love it. Alright, so that's the box. Yeah, Stargirl makes amazing boxes and everything. Amazing websites, amazing modules. Nothing Stargirl can't do. Alright, so we've got some PCBs. This should be a really fast or straightforward build. Let's turn the soldering iron on. Because it's, I think, as far as I know, it's like some connectors, sockets, it's like some potentiometers, or, let's see, are they encoders or potentiometers? Yeah, potentiometers. What else am I seeing? Some pin sockets, some bolts and stuff for mounting. Yeah, it should be a pretty straightforward build. And then I think this is probably the main board. Yeah, this is where all the magic's happening. So I love, you know what, it's pretty cool that it's two boards separated like this, because if I wanted to, I could probably break it out and make it into a Cosmo module. I can't actually get it out of this bag, so I'm just going to ruin this bag. It's like just that width where it makes it really difficult to get out, which is fine. These conductive bags, they're pretty cool, actually. Static sensitive. I hope I don't have any static, because I'd be really bummed out, but so far in my module building experience, I've been pretty static free. Yeah, look at that, trans rights, front and center. Let's see, gotta get that focused. Yeah, beautiful. Those are tin snips. I think my scissors got nicked for gift wrapping. Yeah, let's see what else is on here. The Fox. Whoa. I think you can get a pin of that Fox. That's for the bolt. And there's a little QC sticker, I think. What else does it say on there? Yeah, pretty cool. Alright, put that aside. someplace I won't ruin it. Let's see, we got some rubber bands in here. These are for rubber banding this to this. We'll get to there in a second. Well, at least that's what I assume. I have only skimmed some of the instructions. Eurorack cable, that probably is not long enough for my purposes, but that's okay. I am not the standard. Yeah, so let's look quickly at... I need to open this bag. Let me get the chainsaw. I mean, I could just like use the Sawzall, but you know, that's probably a little bit too much. Just a second. Be right back. Sorry about that. Let's see. Okay. Yeah. So instructions. Yeah. Step one. Start with the power header. Yeah. I don't. So typically, when you're soldering, you start with the smallest component, and when the smallest component is the power header, Stargirl Winterbloom has just done all the work for me, right? Like all of the resistors, capacitors, everything is done. Transistor, like. That's all done for me. So all I have to do is put some basic stuff on there. Very low barrier to entry in terms of build it yourself. Oh yeah, rubber bands around knobs is pretty cool. I think that's very similar to what like the OP1 users use. Like there's a specific knob add-on you can get that's essentially a rubber band, so you can turn two knobs at once. Pretty cool. That's one thing that Eurorack probably does better than Cosmo format, because Cosmo format, like instead of the knobs being this far apart, they're like this far apart, so it probably breaks stuff. Too much tension. Alright, let's solder this power header on. And also, if you're new to soldering, you look for the outline and you just sort of fill in the gap. In this case, you can see the key is towards the top. I think it's the key, the socketed header. Why aren't you going in there, buddy? Never jam stuff in. Oh, they're just pretty tight. When they're that tight, like take a quick look to make sure. Sometimes in the header, a pin will be loose, particularly in cheaper headers like the ones I have, and a pin might get shoved up if they're that tight, but looks like everything made it in is nice and even. And you know, I'm not even going to solder that just yet because it's so tight in there. I'm going to see what's next. I'm pretty sure it's going to be these friends, and I'll just do them all at once. Yeah. Scroll. Yeah, soldering the pin headers. Okay. Because they're all on the same side. I think that's everything on this side. These are probably not... yeah, they're not directional or anything. You don't worry about that. And with these, let's see what the tips are here. Go on the back side, easiest way. Just to place the sockets on the matching headers on the main board. Yeah, I agree. And then place the jack board into the sockets. That's another really like good tip. So this is the main board. I don't really know which direction. I assume up is up, so we'll look at text direction. But that's not usually a great or foolproof indicator. Get those on there nice and straight. Now solder everything on. Let's see. It's been a while since I did any soldering. These are probably I've been doing everything Cosmo format. What solder do I use? That's a great question. I'm trying to use up the very last of my leaded solder, which I don't even remember. I'm not even going to say the name because after that it's all I'm going to try this. Is this lead free? I think this is lead free. I have some lead free solder. One of these is lead free, which is what I'm doing next. And I think I'm going to go lead-free solder from here on out. Like, lead's no good, so I'm just going to go lead-free. And this stuff is, like, it's worked well. It's a little chunky. Let's see. What are you? Some generic Castor rosin core. Where's your percentage? Silver PB40, 3.3%, divided by 44. Anyway, I don't think this. Yeah, solder matters, but like, I think a properly heated soldering iron matters more. In my experience, like, I don't think the solder really. I don't really care which solder I use. I want to get rid of this leaded stuff. So, it's probably like a blasphemy because I think Stargirl uses lead-free, which is awesome. Anyway, let's add some lead to this. But if you're going to do some soldering and you have lead solder, get a fan at least, and a big open space with windows open. The lead-free stuff I don't remember because it's silver. I'm not sure, but I don't think so, which means I'll need to run that soldering iron a bit hotter for it. Or I could use flux, but I'm probably too lazy to use flux. So another thing I like to do is, it's pretty is I'll just solder like one pin on just to pin things down and take a look at the side, make sure things are pretty good looking on all sides, like 90-degree angles, everything like that, and then I'll do the rest. That way you don't like solder on multiple, like trying to desolder those is kind of a pain. You're better off just like cutting them off and putting new ones on, but you can't do that for all components. Again, just make sure that's looking good, which it does. There's other tricks for those too, but in this case there's enough friction to make it effortless. So beautiful footprints. I'm going to make this really trivial and fast. And again, I'm used to like Cosmo format, which means the footprints for everything are a little bigger, like there's usually larger solder points. So I have pretty wide chisel tip on this soldering iron because it's well, I like chisels because they can touch more surface area and heat the pin and the pad up faster. But this is just a hair too big for this board, so it'll be a little bit sloppy. That's okay. No one's going to see it except for me, and I guess anyone else that ever watches this video. So like 2 people. By the way, great questions, Midnight. What temperature is my iron at? It's at 650, which I think is around 340, 350, somewhere in that range. Maybe it's just 300 Celsius, but it's 650 Fahrenheit. I don't remember what button I pressed to go to Celsius, but for whatever reason, Fahrenheit is, let's see, let's just do a quick 650 F2C is 343 degrees Celsius. So 343, it's not super hot. I'll probably use some strip board and test that lead-free solder, because I think that's going to have to be at a higher temperature, but we will see. Don't do tests on your actual builds unless you have extras, like extra components, extra PCBs, or whatever. Or you could also do some tests if you want to get really good at desoldering stuff, but I think that'll just come with time because we all make mistakes. Now in doing these rows, I do make sure to like keep an eye out for bridging connections. I don't want to bridge any of these solder points, so after I get these rows done, I'll usually do a quick inspection and make sure nothing's touching side by side. Also want to make sure there's adequate solder connecting the pad. Sometimes there's a bit much, like if there's like a little, I don't know if you'll even be able to see this, but let's see, focus, come on buddy, focus, hey. Well, I don't know if you can see this or not, but sometimes if there's like a ball, like it looks like a little marble or something, that's probably too much solder. But if it looks like a little bit like a Hershey's Kiss, you done good. Thanks. I like my fan. It's turning a little silver, so it's almost time for a new filter. Probably is well over time for a new filter, but it is what it is. You know what? Maybe I'll give my fan a new filter today. So one thing about this, that's a little bit too much, and you can usually pull off extra solder just by touching it again with the soldering iron tip. You can see I need to solder these right here, and they're really close to that LED, and that's where that fat tip is a little bit sketchy. This wide tip. See if I can just stay on this side. Get some decent soldering. Because, from experience, these LEDs melt quite easily. And while I probably have an extra one lying around, I'd rather not deal with that. Another fun thing about these 10, well, I guess the first fun thing about these 10-pin headers is if there is a bridge connection this way, so like between the two vertical pins, it's not a huge deal, but I still like to clean that up because it looks nicer. But, you know, they're connected anyway, so. Oh, most of the bottom of your keyboards look like pearls. Yeah, pearls aren't bad. Like, they're not, they'll still work. I usually just pull them off. It just depends on what you're building. It's not going to hurt anything. You just need it to have a good connection that's solid. In my opinion, it's hard to have. Well, if you've never gone past 450 degrees Fahrenheit, I highly recommend around 650 for at least leaded solder. I haven't tried lead-free solder. I am not an EE student at all. I am not even close to that. But I've built a lot of things, so by following instructions and learning from others. So that's where I'm at. The EE being electrical engineering, I'm guessing. Yeah, I would try going up to 650 if you can. It's going to make your soldering life a lot easier. You just need to be cautious about keeping the tip down on the PCB too long, because you could like melt the PCB or like get a floating pad or something like that. Like it's uncommon, but it should make soldering just faster and neater. What else? What's next? I'm guessing probably all of the front. I'm gonna probably do all of the front side. Yes! I scrolled down on the website and it's all of the front side components. And the reason I thought that is because I didn't see anything else back here. I am gonna actually pull this main board off carefully. It's really easy to bend these pin headers. Okay, so this is all done. There's no more white outlines or anything, so the reason you do them all at once is so that you can attach this, and I've never used rubber bands before. That's actually smarter than what I do. I usually like bolt them all on, but you know, I still might bolt them all on. You want to place a tip PCB? Yeah. Soldering should be fast. It's not always fast. Let's break out some components. I don't really know. I imagine all of the potentiometers are the same, but I'll check. I don't know. We'll figure it out by reading the instructions. Like, I don't need to be an electrical engineer to read instructions. It just takes a little bit of patience, and in my case, I built a lot of modules. So I was debating building a Cosmo module or a Cosmo panel for this. Ooh, there's a button. What's the button do? Looks like everything else is there, mounting hardware. Yeah, what does the button do? I'll have to look that up. I didn't realize. Is it a joystick? I can't tell if it's just a straight tactile switch. Okay, cool. Sorry about that rambling. I guess I'll turn the fan off. And I don't know how good the audio is because there's a heater right next to me that's loud. Okay, potentiometers. Let's see, start with the tactile switch. Yeah, sure. These are all really nice components in that they tend to stay put once you put them there. The exception might be the jacks. But the tactile switch just goes there. It's not really directional. It's sort of a rectangle, so it can only fit one direction, and then it just sort of sits there. Definitely get the big honking button as a starter DIY module. That's a great one. It is one of my favorite modules of all time. Like, I got it because I wanted to build like a giant Cosmo version of it, which I did, but it ended up being just so much fun that I use it all the time. Like, I replaced other modules in my set just to keep that around. It's a great module, and the build is very, very simple. And if you're a computer, if you know any sort of programming, yeah, programming with Python is going to be great. Even if you don't, it's probably something you could do some learning and figure out. Other folks, I think, have some open source code that you could install, that kind of thing, and read. Use it to make breakbeats. Sick, yeah. Okay, I don't think these are next. Let me read. I want to follow the instructions properly. Oh, there's a cap. I've never seen a cap. That's what that little white bit was. I was thinking this was a spacer, but this is a little cap for the tactile switch. That is beautiful. Hello, friend. You get a little cap. Cool. Okay, moving on. What's next? See, that's why you read the instructions. Next, place all the potentiometers, which are, let's see, they are B103. I don't know what a B103. I mean, B means it's a linear potentiometer, I believe. And 103, I'm guessing, is probably like 100K or 10K. Maybe it's even 1K, I don't know. Let's see, maybe 03 is the number of zeros. I don't know. I have not used any potentiometers that quite look like this, so pretty cool. I guess we could test. That takes too much time. Let's just do it. And this is yeah, this is cool. So you just this. I like to put the 3 legs in first because they're usually the least durable bit, or they're the hardest, and sometimes they're bent. The way Winterbloom packaged this, I doubt any will be bent, but we'll see. And usually I place these last just because they're, well, no, yeah, around the same time as the jacks, sockets. I've got to get out of the habit of calling jacks sockets jacks, because in my mind they're jacks. I don't know why. Broken brain. Like, when you learn something wrong, it's hard to unlearn it. Yeah, so these also will stay put. They're pretty, the footprint matches pretty well. This is an A+ build. This would be a pretty straightforward build for a beginner at soldering. The things you would have to be cautious about are static discharge on the main board and like getting these in straight, but if you follow the instructions that Winterbloom provided, you should be golden. But the big honking button is very simple. And yeah, all the Winterbloom modules are gorgeous. Like, I definitely don't need the Speak to Me module, but I do need the Speak to Me module. Like, it's amazing. Definitely definitely going to be getting that module. Not building a Cosmo panel for it. because I just built a new case dedicated to Eurorack, almost entirely because of Winter Bloom's modules. It's way bigger than is necessary for just Winter Bloom stuff, but I thought it was time for me to be able to, like, they're just so cool. Anyway, enough raving. Alright. These are directional, they're mono jacks, it looks like. Well, are they stereo? Switching mono, I think. Yes. Switching mono. Which means that when you... I don't know if they're used for that, but if you... they're basically normal jacks. If you don't know what that is, well... It just means that you can have a connection that's passed through here when nothing is plugged in, and then when something is plugged in, it listens to the cable instead. Signal coming through the cable. Or outputs, either way. That was a bad description, but I found like most descriptions, like if you search for normal jacks, like the descriptions are very non-intuitive. Okay, so I think that's all the parts. What's next? Got a text. Let's see. Oh, they're taking. I want to go for a walk. I'm not gonna go for a walk. I'm gonna finish this because I don't think we're that far from being done. Right side up. Yes. So the next step is to just carefully. Well, let me double check. Pretty sure the next step is to use the front panel. Yeah. Yeah, if you just follow these Winter Bloom guides, you're going to have a huge advantage when you go to solder other things, because there's a lot of good tips in there. Ooh. What I was trying to do there was gently nudge the tactile switch, but I ended up dislodging it like a dummy. So now I think I should probably pull out this jack, pull out the sockets, and put this back, maybe the other side too. You don't want to bend things is the thing. There we go. And it wasn't perfectly centered, so I was trying to push it in place and pushed it too far. Went too far. Exciting. And hopefully most of this is on camera. If not, oh well. Alright, it looks pretty straight. Oh, it's the sync switch, that's what it is, the hard sync switch, I think. I was just so distracted from the pretty lights, I forgot about that switch. Yeah, there you go. Look at that. That's pretty much it. Okay, so what I usually do is painstakingly put all of the jack socket nuts on, and I still might do that. Debating right now. I'm going to set this down real quick. So anything that's used for mounting, I want to put aside. It's usually smaller stuff. Okay, so the reason I like to put the nuts on, this may not be like a Eurorack thing that I need to worry about, but with Cosmo, everything's a little bit bigger. I like to put them on so that the jack's sockets are flush with the PCB before they're soldered. So that way, when I do go to solder them, if there's like a gap or something, the nut doesn't pull it too close and break something, or pull off a connection or whatever. So that's what the rubber band is essentially doing. I don't know. Let's think about this for a second. Yeah, so that's a good question too. Midnight asked if what tool do I use to put the jack nuts on the sockets? I keep these handy just for Cosmo format stuff. I use these, and they don't have to be long ones, but the reason I use geez, why can't this socket wrench? The reason I use these sockets is because without, I specifically use them without a wrench. Is one, it's pretty fast because you can just spin them, and two, it's hard to put too much torque on them, at least for Cosmo modules. You don't want to put a ton of torque on these. You don't want to crack something. Like, they don't really need to be that tight. They just need to be tight enough to not move, and it's easy enough to retighten them. But these are different sizes than the ones I need, so what I need to actually do is fish out. Let's fish out one for this so you can see it. I'll be right back. Oh, big box wrench. Alright, what size do I think you are? I think you're probably, just eyeball it. 5/16. Let's see. Five 5/16 looks right. So these are probably 5/16. If Bartok's still watching, he would know better than me. If you're, this is the first time I built like a Eurorack module proper. Like, yeah, the big honking button is a Eurorack module, but I didn't use the front PCB, front panel. I used my own, so I don't really remember. And I used my own jacks too, so I had no idea. This is the first time I've done this. So I think this is 5/16. So let's see. It might be metric too, but 5/16 is probably close enough. So nope, too big. Grab that metric one too. It could be metric because they're, yeah, it's a 9. This is perfect. Cool. Disregard all my bad advice. It's a 9. And again, this is probably somewhat unnecessary. Is it a 9? What's that? Yeah, it's a 9. This is probably unnecessary. Like, the rubber bands probably do the trick, but I figure at this point I probably won't need to take this apart again because this is such a straightforward build. And goodness, am I getting excited. I'm probably going to pull some modules out so I can turn this on tonight because I actually haven't finished my case yet. Could do some soldering on that. I basically have to build the power supply, well, not the power supply, the bus boards. Bolt them on, drill some holes and stuff. Oh yeah, 3D printed tool would be sick. For those of you with 3D printers, I am not one of those people. Even though I think they're super cool, I just haven't bought one. If I ever got a 3D printer, this would just be a 3D printing stream, like, tune in to see my printer in action. What is it printing today? Dinosaur. Cool. Most likely I would be 3D printing panels. I really want to get into panel design, but I'll save that until I design my own modules, which is inevitable. It's just not going to be anytime in the near future. I think the first one I might do would be like a Python elevator module. That one still is exciting to me. It'd be fun. But I really need to take some basic, or like learn a bit more about building proper circuits, do a lot more reading on that, which I'm currently learning other stuff right this second. Okay, so we have a fully tighten one, which means I don't actually need the rubber bands at this point, but let's do it anyway because it's cool. Let's do it right. Okay. Nice. And what I'll do is just like pin a few of these down and then remove the rubber bands. Imagine that's what it says. Solder front side components. Yeah, cool. Yeah, everything needs to be flush. That's the big thing. And it looks pretty good, I think. No warped PCB. Yeah, we're in business, I'm pretty sure. Okay, yeah, soldering time. Let's get rid of this solder. What should I start with? Yeah, let's just do the outside corners. Ooh. See, without the fan, the smoke, if you've ever done any soldering, if you don't have this little, it's like a $30 or $40 fan. I can't speak to how good it filters stuff, but I think it's probably fine. But if you don't have the fan, the smoke just goes straight for your nose every time. It wants to be breathed. But you should definitely know. Lead is no fun. Come on, buddy. I'm just sort of soldering everything I see around the rubber bands. And again, if you have your soldering iron this hot, you really do need to move kind of fast. Cool. Come on, buddy. Yeah. And you can look at the legs on the potentiometer or whatever and adjust your iron tip, especially if it's chiseled, to get the most surface area touching the legs, which is why you see me turning the board around. It's just so that like I can hold the flat side against the flat side of the leg so that it heats up faster. Alright, just cruising along these jacks. These are really nice copper pads. Not that the other pads are worse. The silver pads still look cool, but copper is just a little bit easier to see on black. So it's obvious where you haven't soldered something. Yeah, it's like the smoke is magnetized to my face. It's super annoying. This fan it's life-changing if you solder a lot. Also, another thing I recommend is to, if there's a DIY kit available and you're interested in soldering, get the DIY kit. Not even because it's cheaper. I think it was like a little bit cheaper on Winter Bloom for this, but it's just, I think it's just as much fun as the module itself. Another pro tip on these potentiometer legs that you see, they're sort of the wider through holes. Those are primarily there for stability. You don't have to fully solder them all the way around. Like, you can. I don't always advise it because if you mess something up, it's kind of hard to desolder if there's a lot of solder on there. And so far I haven't messed up, and I don't know that I will on this one, but got a lot of pro tips on desoldering too. I love braided, what's it called? This stuff. Braided, whatever. I use this to remove solder. Whoop. Still see. I should check that in just a second. Yeah, you can still kind of see. Yeah, big honking button is a steal. I fully agree. And it's super. The simpler the hardware, in this case, it's one button, the simpler it is to work with, I would say. Not necessarily build, but like you can customize it. You can do all sorts of crazy stuff with it. Yeah, I love it. It's Python. Which I'm terrible at, by the way, but I can do stuff. Hey, Forsty. You hate desoldering, you'd rather buy a new kit. Yeah, I don't know. I guess I've desoldered enough things because I make mistakes that I don't mind desoldering anymore. Also, extra shout out to Winter Bloom for including keyed headers socket. This thing. Unkeyed headers should be a crime. Like, if you're paying $500 for a module and it doesn't have a keyed header, like, it's like they want you to plug it in the wrong way, so you have to pay for money again. I don't know. I'm just bitter about it. I haven't done that. It just drives me a little crazy. Okay, let's chat say. Exploding shed tools. I don't know what that is. What's exploding tools? Exploding shed tools. Sounds cool. I like sheds. And I like tools. Notice I'm saving the hard to solder things for last. Probably should start with those, but I like to get a few wins in. I'm also not soldering anything that's directly touching a rubber band because I'm pretty sure it would just break the rubber band. Yeah, these ones in between here are a little tricky, so. Just be careful, take your time. They're tricky because you don't want to like tilt your soldering iron and melt the plastic here, because removing these is terrible. This is a Castor and Pollux kit, yes. That means it's going to be sick. It is the first and second, the first and second oscillator module I have that will go into my new case. I'll probably put it in the old case first just to test it out, but actually I have a power supply somewhere. We'll test it out here first on a crappy speaker. Maybe I'll even wire up a piezo as a speaker. We'll see. I think I'm going to remove the rubber bands at this point. They're not functioning anymore. The solder is holding everything in place. Remove those? Yeah, this is the Castor and Pollux by Winter Bloom. Alright, let's finish this. Just have a handful of things to solder on. Come on, buddy. Change direction. A little more solder. You know what? I'll probably just solder those on because I think they're gonna be fine. Whoops, messed up. Cool paint job. Another thing I highly recommend are these solder mats. Pretty nice. Just keep stuff from rolling around. Oops. I do put a fair amount of downward force on. I don't know if that makes it better or not, but I just do it because I'm trying to maximize contact with the pins in the sockets. The traces? I don't know. Clearly I'm not an electrical engineer. Yeah, geez. So this is again my very first Euro rack, like true full Euro rack build, and how close components are to each other. Like just these not these jack legs, these potentiometer legs are to these plastic strips. Like if I have to replace that potentiometer, that's be a mild nightmare. But I think that's just the nature of trying to build something that compact. It's not a dig at the designer or anything. I don't need to do what I'm doing now, which is just like adding a little more solder to the structural legs, but it looks pretty, so why not? Ish. Subjective. Okay, I'm almost done. Okay. I love how you can just sort of draw solder around once you get the hang of it, like move it around the pad. And it's definitely like drawing it, not pushing it, like you're pulling it. Okay, and that's probably it. It's the last bit of copper. No longer looks as nice on the back. Oh yeah, the dispenser is cool. If I had a 3D printer, I would have just printed one. It's 2 stories, but whatever, it's fine. Okay, I think that's it. That's the whole build. It's really quite straightforward with very clear instructions. Let me make sure. I don't think I have to do anything as far as software. I could probably update it if there is an update. I'm not sure if I need to. Oh, no, I need to bolt things together. That's why I shouldn't have put these on. I have to bolt the main board on here-ish, and which means I should have just done the rubber bands. So yeah, see, follow instructions, friends. So now I have to take every one of these off, which isn't the end of the world. These are pretty fast compared to some of the modules I built with like 20 plus sockets. Also, on the ones I build, all of the jacks have nuts because they're larger. Alpha pots. Did I say all the jacks? All the potentiometers have nuts. That's what I meant to say. Yeah, this thing has a mega sound, which I love. I'm actually, it's very unlike me. I'm actually looking forward to making like Juno-like pleasant sounds instead of my usual alien screams. And these can scratch things up too. I generally don't mind too much, but just be aware. Any tool that is spinning on a PCB has potential to mess things up. Okay, I believe it's not butter. Okay, pull this off. Those fall. Didn't lose anything. Put this away. Don't need it. Okay, don't know what all these parts are for, so let's find out. Take the jack, connect it to the master board. Oh, first let's put this thing on. Is it just a single long screw through the standoff? Yeah, so pop this through here, then do this a bunch of times. Sorry, something in front of camera. Yeah, 4-steam truck sounds. That is the heater, probably. And again, you don't want to tighten things like too much on PCBs, just like, yeah, enough. Let's see. So we got that on there. Beautiful. Next, we're going to connect this back together. And because of that screw, it is only single direction that it can fit, so you don't have to think about it too much. Make sure it's nice, make sure everything's lined up. Cool. Oh, Castor and Pollux makes truck sounds. Cool. I don't know whose hands are in these photos, but they have excellent green fingernails. Those are cool. M3 nut, D1, no lane. Oh, you know what these are? These are mounting nut screws. Jeez, this is, I'm gonna need a teeny tiny set of pliers, because my fingers are huge. And again, it doesn't need to be super tight, you're just trying to keep it from falling off the back when you're not, using, or you've got some 6 subwoofer going. Yeah, the Winter Bloom branding is so good on every aspect. You know what book I would buy is like PCB art, because I feel like Eurorack has been killing it on PCB art. Okay, put this on. No, it's okay. Cool. Yeah. Boom. Let's get this all lined up. Everything should just pop right in. Easy peasy. Okay. Now let's try not to scratch up the front plate too much. I wonder, you know what? I hardly use this 9, it's 8mm. Ooh, it's 8, not 9. I hardly use the 8mm socket for anything, so I wonder if I can like put like a thin bit of fabric over the end of it so that it doesn't scratch things. I don't know. Another thing to try on a different day. The BIA is on my list as well. I wonder if there's a DIY kit for that. I haven't looked too closely. I think what I'll get next that isn't a present is probably, like, if I buy more modules for myself, I'll probably start with some drum modules, so the BIA might be on there. We'll see. Because I have a giant case I just built, giant power supply, and I want to use all of that power. Well, I don't care about the power use. I just want a cool what a cool Eurorack case to play with and try out some of these modules that folks have been making like this. Like these, this is a great example of one that like I've really wanted for a long time since I saw it, and just couldn't justify the HP, not the cost or building it or anything like that. It's just not that I have infinite money, I don't, but it's more I just didn't have space for it because I only have 64 HP available Eurorack space in my Cosmos synthesizer. So that changes probably in a week or two once I've wrapped this build up, but it'll change to what, 9U, 157 HP, something like that, which frees me up to do all sorts of shenanigans. Alright, so I think I'm just going to see if it lights up. Let me get a power supply. Power supply, sketchy connector. Cool. Could also see if the audio comes out. We'll find out. Alright, so power supplies, one I built. Looks like this is on correctly, so we can just plug it in. We should see some lights. I won't get shocked properly. Probably. Not properly. Red stripe. It's keyed, so I don't have to think about it. So now I'm just going to plug it in and pray, I guess. Ooh. Beautiful lights. Let me do something real quick. Because let's be real, this is a space module. It's best viewed at night. Yeah, look at that. Oh, I bet it even sounds better than it looks, which is amazing. So, very cool. Oh, wow. And you can even see a little bit of light sort of seeping in around the edges of the potentiometers. That's just beautiful module. Very stoked about this, Stargirl, if you ever watch this. This is cool. You know what? Let's see if it makes sound, but I gotta turn light on so I don't break stuff. Let's see. This should probably do it. Let's take the saw output of 1. Whew, go straight into the mixer. Like, first I need a speaker. Do I have a speaker down here? Ooh, I just got a set. Hold on. My sister gave me her old computer speakers. Let's hook these up. Don't really have space for them, but oh well. Go over here. There. These are actually the only Bose like physical speakers I've ever touched. When I say physical, I meant like not headphones. I have a single pair of Bose headphones, and they're okay. Just okay. Okay, so this speaker connects to the other speaker. Where do you go, left or right? Left. Okay. Put you somewhere over here. Real close. Not that stereo matters. Let's move my drink that's open away. 2 left speakers. Nice. TS cable. Sweet. And all sorts of audio inputs on the back of that. That's neat. Maybe don't even need a mixer with this. Oh geez, I do need a different socket setup though, so we'll just Alright, we have speakers, check. Now we need to go from that into speakers, which I don't even know the input. I'm guessing the input's here somewhere. Oh no, it's a different connector. I'll be right back. In the meantime, just enjoy the light show. Alright, I think I have the adapter. Let's see, this goes this. Probably should turn off my soldering iron so I don't accidentally solder something. I think that is not the right connector. This is not the right adapter. Back to light show. Alright, this is the right cable for sure. Stop. Switch. Is anyone still here? Well, if you are, I apologize. Let's see. Left. Not that left and right matter, it's going to be a mono output. No light or anything, we'll see. Okay, so now let's put this in line in 1 and just see what we get. Oh, yeah. I'm only getting one speaker. No, I'm not. One speaker is just way louder. I don't know why. Oh well. It may not sound anything like this. I don't know. But this is just one oscillator with the sub oscillator. Sorry, I don't have a way to adjust the pitch right here, but alright, let's try the right one. Alright, let's do both. Ha! Oh, if you're asking about the speaker, yeah, it is a mono connection, but I'm going into a mixer, the Mix 5 on the single line in, and it's not panned at all, so if I look at it just on the mixer, it's equal left and right. It's just, who knows how good these old speakers are. You know what, the gain was all the way up too, so maybe they sound, oh, that's pretty solid. You know what, I actually don't know how much of that you can hear because there's some noise cancellation happening with the stream. So, Castor and Pollux, everybody, expect some really nice sounds out of this. Like, what a beautiful board. Let's see, just hold that there for a minute and enjoy. I might build a computer next, but probably on a different stream because it's not really music related. Arguably, this is not music related either, but it will be. So for anyone that joined expecting sick beats, subscribe to Robbie's channel instead of mine or EMS. But I'm just kidding, EMS is sick. These are great. The colors are just really, let's see if I can hold this even at the right angle. Really pleasant combinations, which is hard to do. Really stoked about this. Have you noticed I have this huge case behind me? This is another Cosmo case I built that works, but hey, I forgot about that module I built. But what was I going to say? It needs a power supply. This is not enough to power it completely, so I need to, I don't know, Robbie, do you have since you're watching, I'm just going to ask you here, do you have a schematic for the power supply you built? Because I'm planning to use some Meanwell RT65Bs and don't want to die. I saw somebody's schematic and people walked them through building it, but the schematic was like pictures of elements and crazy, and it just looked a little bit gnarly. It scared me away. So like a regular schematic or photo would make me happy. So I don't think it needs to be complicated, but I could be wrong. What else? I think that's it. Very stoked about this. I want to raise it up in pitch so I can hear the differences a little nicer, and also I just have a feeling that putting this through a filter will make it just the most pleasant, beautiful sound ever. or really gnarly, especially if I pull out one of the like saw waves out or something. Actually, these are switched. I wonder if I, that's a good question, if I put in a cable, so you've got the mix out here. Let's say I've got something, the mix out going to something. If I plug a cable in here, will it pull this saw wave out of the mix out? I don't know. Find out later. Yeah, I think it should be pretty simple. That's the whole reason I bought them in the first place, and they're somewhere. They're right here. They're in the case, ready to be scary electrical components. Look at these bad monsters. Yeah, I know the Castor and Pollux can be gnarly, but I'm actually feeling making some really pleasant stuff with it. Actually mellow. Maybe really gnarly too, but we'll start with mellow. Around winter, I feel more in touch with mellow because there's like gray skies and snow, and it's just my jam. What a cool thing. Meanwhile, RT65B. I think that's what this is. There's like no label anywhere on it, but it's got plus minus. Yeah, RT65B. There we go. There's the label. Ooh, $35 a pop. Something like that. And then I can use a power cable instead of these awkward wall warts everywhere. What's next? You know what? I'm just going to show off some stuff before I kill the stream. Because I want to go play with this. But let's see. Let's get you out of the way, my friend. Very useful. Very good. I'm going to put all the winter bloom stuff back in the box real quick so I don't lose it. I very much appreciate the work that went into it. Okay, get that out of the way. Second, I was actually working on another module earlier, but I'm not going to finish that today. This has, yeah, I don't know. The thing is, I don't know about the outputs is if, like, so there's the single, you have individual wave outputs on each side. And this will, I mean, if I just read the manual, it'll tell me. And then down here, you have mix outputs. So on the right and left side, you have the output of the mix of each individual oscillator. So on the left side, you have a mix of the triangle, square, and sub-oscillator. And on the right side, you have the same mix. In the center, you have the mix of both of those together. And because there's, I think, a really subtle LFO happening on the right oscillator, you'll get some pretty cool chorusy detuning stuff. Combined with this, I think this is the chorus control as well. Maybe this is, I don't remember. I'll have to look closer. So it's technically got a lot of outputs. I'm just not sure if they're switched outputs or not. If they're switched, I hope they're not switched is the short answer, but it'll still be really nice regardless. Yeah, beautiful module. Thank you, Winter Bloom. Anyway, here's the computer I plan to build. It's the dev term nerdy, like, actually I haven't even pulled it out of the box yet. It'll look like, yeah, it'll look like this picture here. Look just like that. It's got a thermal printer, tiny little keyboard. And I've been wondering about the scale. This arrived a few days ago and I haven't even looked at it. Oh my gosh, it's so small. There's the keyboard. And here's how big my finger, let's see if there's a better camera angle. Like, trying to put my fingers on the home row, like, extends over buttons, which is awesome. Switch sockets are, let me back up. Switch sockets just mean that if I, again, if I have the output of the mix going and I then plug something into here, it pulls this oscillator out of the combined mix. A lot of my drum machines do that, and I don't love it. I understand the why of it, but I don't love it. But, because they are switched sockets, I think mono switched. Cool. Anyway, thermal printer, computer. I'm going to probably build this next today, but I'm not going to stream it here. I might still stream it. We'll see. First, I need to take a break. So, hopefully someone plays some music. And also, I still love this sticker from Trugtronic. So, you can patch everything out of everything. So, not switched. Amazing. What that means is I can make the gnarliest possible sounds with this. Especially like if you pull like the saw wave out and put it into the filter, it just gnarlyifies things. Yeah, I cannot wait. And this is a sync switch, I'm pretty sure, based on the illustration, and just vaguely remember something like that. Yeah, this is going to be right at home in the new case. I'm excited. A good example of a switched module that I wish wasn't was mass, where you can like pull things out of the main sort of mix signal output. I don't love that. Get it, but not my thing. And again, yeah, all the hard stuff was done on this one. It's just super simple. Potentiometers, a button, sockets. This is a great like first DIY project, I think. You probably won't build it that well. I built it and tested it in an hour and 15 minutes, so like that's not too bad for a module. All right. Have a good afternoon, evening, morning, whatever time it is, and thanks for watching. Someone make some music, please. Oh, cross patch it? Saw from oscillator 2 and an input on the left. Yeah. Yeah, you can do some fun stuff with that. You could probably there's not a whole lot of CV inputs. There's the pitch and the pulse width modulation, which, let's be real, if that wasn't there, I still would have bought this, but I would have been less excited about it. But you can like pull the saw wave into either of those and do some pseudo, I don't know if you call it FM or what, but pretty cool stuff. Yeah. The knobs should have been larger. I do have, let's see, let's just get a comparison. A big box of Cosmo jacks and not, just do a size comparison of jacks, first of all. Here's one jack socket. Like, that's one Cosmo jack socket. And then the knobs are usually like, let's see, these are the smaller of the knobs. Let's see here, big knob, smaller. And I could put, I could put the smaller knobs on, no problem, but they would cover the inputs. Let's see, are there any of these? No, I think they're just too big. Yeah, anyway. I don't know. I think the knobs are fine. There's a lot packed into this. You've got, oh, that's what this is. This is the crossfader here, and this is the chorus effect. Anyway, you've got 7 mixers here. So you've got these 3 mixers plus a mixer here. So that's a lot of mixer knobs just right here, plus the tuning and the pulse width. I imagine the tuning, because it's digital, I'm pretty sure the tuning you don't have to mess with. You could leave all the way down or all the way up, and it's probably an octave apart, maybe 2, I don't know. Put funk trimmer toppers. Oh, for fine tuning. Yeah, that makes sense. I've seen people use like rubber bands and stuff like that too. I don't know. Funk trimmer toppers. I don't have any problems with it. I imagine once I set it to a particular pitch, because it's digital, it will just stay there, so I don't have to mess with it too much. Whereas mine, my analog oscillators, I'm constantly having to tune, especially in the winter when the temperature changes like significantly in an afternoon or morning. Anyway, now I'm gonna drink some more fizzy stuff and build a computer. And yeah, why not? I'll also stream it, but I'm not going to stream it on this channel because it's not music related. in even a little bit. Yeah. So thanks for watching. I hope one of you, again, somebody makes some music so I can listen to music while I stream.